Thank you for your patience. We're just finishing our House Democratic Whip meeting. As for the others out there, it's really part of our caucus where we heard from our magnificent chairman, had a Q&A with our members, with each chair, about the specifics in the legislation as amended from what they have seen since last week. It was very inspiring and heartening to see the depth of knowledge, the value-based decisions that were made in the committees, and the ongoing commitment to getting the job done for the people. I want to say that I'm so proud of the president. I'll come back to some of that, but President returning from representing America to show that this morning we have a report from Joint Tax, which is documenting how the bill and validating how the legislation is paid for. It came out about 10 o'clock. I refer it to you for your review. It's a very solid, because people say, well, it's really paid. There are people who say it isn't paid for. You know, there are people who say a lot of things. But this document of Joint Tax is objective. It's not Democratic, it's not Republican, it's objective view that it is solidly paid for. And that doesn't even take into account the money that we'll get from what we're very proud of is an agreement on prescription drugs, which generates resources, as well as enforcement, which is $400 billion in enforcement. So here we are with all this. The prescription drug bill is something that is news from last week. It enables us to do something we've been trying to do for a very long time, have the Secretary of HHS negotiate for lower drug prices, halts pharma's outrageous price hikes above inflation, and expands ACA to make coverage more affordable for those who buy insurance on their own. So it's not just about Medicare prices, it's about the private sector, commercial sector as well. We're very excited about what happens in the legislation and took pride in hearing various committees address how children are affected. You know, but Biden child tax credit, universal pre-K and 3 and 4 year olds, families, child care cost. Again, this is an area where we have real consensus. House and Senate have for a long time. Nothing very new in that care section, except the fact that we would like to put on the table the family and medical leave. It's so needed and so popular in our country and makes such a difference in the lives of America's families. Very important to women, but men too, to have that opportunity.
Abigail Spanberger, Congresswoman from Virginia, Democrat, said of Joe Biden, she says, nobody elected him to be FDR. They elected him to be normal and stop the chaos. What do you think about that?
And I think he can do that. I really do. I believe in President Biden. I still do. And I will always, because he's a good person. He's here for the right reason. He really is in government for the right reason. We just have to work together. We can't go too far left. This is not a center-left or a left country. We are a center, if anything, as a little center-right country, and that's being shown. And we ought to be able to recognize that. And all of my friends on the left are progressives or liberals or whatever. I said, I'm not. I always say that I'm a responsible West Virginia Democrat, and I'm fiscally responsible and socially compassionate. I think most people in the middle feel that way. But I also empathize with the people on the far left and the far right. That's aspirational. But come together, realize what can and can't be done. Don't force basically something that's not going to happen to make people believe it will. Let's look at the finances, John. Inflation. You asked about the election. People are scared to death in West Virginia about the high rising cost of gasoline, of food, now of utilities. The basic needs of life is going up and making more of a burden on them, no matter how much money we send out.
One of the issues that seemed to play a large role in Virginia was education and parents' role in education, and in some cases the way that America's history regarding racism has been taught in those schools. Now, you were a former governor. You have dealt with schools directly. Why do you think this was a fertile issue there?
I don't know. I think that basically during the debate, and Terry might have, when he said what he said, and it was just taken and they ran with it, we all know that parents must be involved in children's education. You must be paying attention to what's going on in the classroom, and you must be working with both the school that your children go to, the teachers that they have, and your children at home, if you're involved, and you should be. But with that being said, the curriculum is going to be set if everyone agrees, but if they don't, they should speak out. That's what PTO is about. Parent-teachers organizations are for that reason, and that reason is why they've always been involved. And as far as I can remember in education, when I was governor, I always enjoyed having the input of parents and all that, and then we have to make decisions, and then you have to explain those decisions, right, what you're teaching.
Do you think Democrats are in the wrong place somehow on education right now?
I don't know. No, I don't really. I hope not. I'm not. I can tell you that. I still look to the parents to see what they think their children should be or how they're reacting back home when they get home from school. And social media has played such a part in their life, John. It's not been a good part as far as I can see, but, to each his own, I guess, on that.
Among the finishing touches on Democrats' social safety net plan is reining in sky-high drug prices.
This deal empowers Medicare for the first time ever to negotiate prices for expensive medicines at your doctor's office, at your pharmacy.
There was a breakthrough agreement this afternoon on adding a prescription drug negotiation provision, a provision that would lower out-of-pocket costs for prescription drugs for American seniors.
It will cap out-of-pocket spending at $2,000 per year. This agreement will lower insulin prices so that Americans with diabetes don't pay more than $35 per month for their insulin. And it will reform the pharmaceutical industry to stop price gouging and make sure our country's drug pricing system benefits patients, not corporations.
We got to bring down our prescription drug costs. It makes no sense that Americans pay 5 and 10 times more for the same drugs that are sold cheaper in Canada and in the UK.
That is exactly what the Build Back Better budget does, is lower costs for working families.
Senator, how will his bill do anything to change, for instance, the price of gasoline, which is breaking a lot of budgets right now? Just that issue.
Yeah, Laura, not only will it do nothing to address those challenges, it'll make many of them worse. Every American with an ounce of common sense knows if the federal government continues to shower trillions of dollars on this economy, it's going to drive inflation even higher. They know that this bill has nothing to do with coronavirus. The problems in our schools are created by Democratic governors and school boards who shut our schools down and then keep our kids in masks. And when they do have them in school, try to teach them to hate America and call their parents domestic terrorists if they complain about any of it. That's what's wrong with our schools. It has nothing to do with the bill the Democrats are trying to pass right now.